What?
It is fun to spend time with you.
It's fun to spend time with me?
Yeah.
Is it not normally fun to spend time with me?
I don't know.
Oh man, heartbroken. Oh my God. So you don't have a fun time spending time with me without the truck?
Yes,
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, you do? No, I don't want to talk you into it. If you don't, tell me.
I do.
Yeah? Don't worry, only the world is watching.
Wait.
Look at the camera.
Spending time with you is very fun, though.
Okay. You're silly. Hey everybody, John from Red Viking Hobbies. Today with me is the HPI Crawler King. Pretty sweet looking rig, right? Okay, well, this is going to be another improper unboxing. What is that? That is when I take the car out of the box and basically I test it out and everything else like that. And I leave the surprise of unopening it to you instead of peeling all the plastics off and everything else like that. With it, you get this controller here and you get some plasma battery for it, nickel metal. And it's a Tamiya connection. Let's see here if they gave us batteries. Yes, plasma batteries is actually what they gave us for the car. So it comes ready to run right out of the box with everything that you need. In addition, of course, there is the manual for the crawler as well. And then there are some bits and pieces that when I was making this video and getting into it, I lost. I will be frank. They're amongst my other pieces of and parts for cars that I have, well, everywhere right now because I'm redoing my space to do my videos. I'll put it that way. But yeah, you get your manual and you get some extra little things like to change the tension on the springs and things like that. And you get your controller, your battery, and obviously the truck, which is what we're going to talk about right now. Okay, so this bad boy from HPI out of the United Kingdom is actually a conversion, which I was not aware of. I'm going to show you a couple other crawlers while we do this video. But when I say that, what I mean is it's honest to God, a monster truck chassis that you get here that HPI went and converted into a crawler. Basically what they did was they took the car and they flipped the battery position of it. They put a crawler motor in there and they did a gear reduction so that they could take their Wheelie King and turn it into the Crawler King. Now, for all intents and purposes, good idea, but a bunch of problems stood out to me right away. So let me start with the first one on the car, and that is going to be everything about the servo. Your servo, now I want you to see this. Here's your steering linkage up here, right? Up front. Your servo is located all the way back here, okay? It is nowhere near the front axle. Well, what does that mean in a crawler? Well, what it means is that this servo has to work extra hard because it is going to then push on the servo horn, then it's going to push on this plastic piece of linkage that's wonky. It's going to come all the way down and it's going to take its travel all the way to the front of the car where it then gets its, again, another plastic servo horn here where it has to then change directions so it can turn these giant C-hubs that the truck has. I'll have photos that I'm putting into the video so you can see it. So that's a problem. Do they make a axle mount for the steering linkage for the servo? Yes, they do. However, This in the United States will cost you about $300 to $360 for a crawler. So be wary of what you're getting. Now on the box and in the videos, they show you this twisting an angle that you get right here and everything else like that, which would seem like it would be great out in the field. The problem is, as soon as you take a look at where the steering linkage is and how it's directly in front of the axle, this steering linkage, which is weak and actually felt to me like it was oversized. Can you see that? Okay. By the time the servo does its job and gets it to the linkage and tries to move these tires, the car can't drive its lines. And so for a crawler, that's unacceptable, because what you want to have is the ability to control exactly where it goes, right? That's the whole idea behind crawling. I can take any car. I can take an Arma Mega 4x4, right, for $99, I think is what they're going for now, and I can run it over berms and do the things you're going to see that this truck does in the videos. So a lot of plastic on this guy. These, the links underneath here are metal, okay, here and here, but your drive shafts are plastic, and your axle housings, of course, are plastic, and there's a plastic kind of sway bar that's here in the back. But you have to remember, what they did was a conversion of a monster truck. So it didn't start off as a true crawler frame. They took the monster truck and then they went and made a crawler out of it by putting in the 55 turn and then doing the gear reduction. And so to me personally, when I was trying to crawl it, I was saying, you know, it's interesting, 55 turns for the size of the vehicle they give you, and they give you great tires on here. The tires are absolutely terrific. But the servo basically just, it can't handle that. It's just not in a good position. They moved the battery tray, right? So they're going to give you more weight in the front of the car. We're going to slap our plasma battery in there. And I'm going to show you the idea behind it, obviously, with anytime we relocate our batteries, is that when the battery is in the front of the car, it gives more weight, obviously, to the front. So when we're doing our crawls, we're going to get more traction on our tires. But on this, as you can see, as the battery sits, the greater the angle becomes, the more the battery, if you look at the direction of the tray, the more the battery actually starts to go in this direction. So you'd actually be better off, with the space you have, relocating the battery yourself and working on this chassis and redesigning it so that you could get that battery to sit flat, or to relocate it somewhere towards the center of the truck. Here are some of the cool things about it, okay? The first thing that's really cool about it is it's a lot of fun when you go out and you play with it, just as an RC vehicle goes. So I let my son do all of the work when he was out there running the vehicle, and he loved it, and he named it Meatball. So I literally gave my son this truck. But here's the deal. That means I just gave my son a $300 and some odd crawler because I didn't happen to like the way it performed. Then when we were done and we came home and it came to cleaning it, I ran into another issue. Give me a moment so I can show you that issue. Okay, I am back. And although it's going to be hard to see, I will take a picture of it and put it in there for you. The hub here that you obviously mount your tire on has a pretty big space in between it and the axle. So when this thing runs through grass, especially tall grass, the grass winds around it and it gets caught inside there. And to remove it, you need to remove the grub screw to take this off. That's not terribly uncommon, but what is terribly uncommon nowadays, and again, the Wheelie King was maybe 10 years ago or so, is the fact that this car is all Phillips head. And I'm going to say that again. This truck that you pay over $300 for is all Phillips heads when it comes to the screws that hold everything together, from the body post mounts to the chassis and everything on the side of it. Now, there's a lot of people, a lot of fans of the Crawler King that are out there. And I understand that if you were to get this as your first crawler, why you would like it so much. And there are hop-ups for it from Integy and things like that. But to get this thing running proper and driving the lines correctly and everything else like that, I estimated everything that I would have to do to the car, including changing out the motor because it needed more power just to get over things like curbs without a real running start. In other words, it would hit a curb and then like the crawl wouldn't be, you know, significant enough. We had to give it a little bit more oomph. I would have went with a 35T motor in here instead of the 55T. I happen to have a bunch of motors rolling around all over the place. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap the motor out. And I don't want to be dissing HPI for what they did, because in the Americas, in the United States, crawling is big. And so they want to have a crawling offering. So they even have a Crawler King conversion for that Wheelie King. I'm going to put a picture of that up. And basically what it does is it takes your old Wheelie King and it turns it into a crawler. But is it a true crawler? Not quite. It does have in the bag of parts that I lost, and I'm sorry that I'm unable to show you at this time, it does have some extra body posts on it so you can mount different bodies. This is the older body. In the United States, this was the one that was most common for me to be able to find. So I just went ahead and ordered it. But right now they're doing a red SVT Raptor body on the car. So I'll put it this way. If you went to, let's say, Red Cat, and you ordered the Danchi, or there's one that's above the Danchi that's about $180 model. You know, I have it. I gotta go get it so I can show you. So this is the Everest from Red Cat. So if you want to get into the monster truck style, you know, but you didn't want to go through over $320 to do it, you can pick up one of these guys between $170 and $180 plus tax in US dollars, and you're going to be able to accomplish the same thing. The parts are obviously readily available because they're coming from Red Cat. Their customer service is absolutely excellent. So this isn't a Red Cat Everest video. It's just basically a comparison video to show you if you wanted to go with a monster truck that is in a crawling style, then, you know, there is an offering that's out there that is actually half the price. And as far as performance goes, I wouldn't even want to put them up side to side against each other, because I know how the Everest performs and it is better. I didn't want to call it the Everest at first when I was speaking, because I was just playing with my Gen 8 V2 and my Gen 8 Axe. And so all of a sudden in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, do they have multiple versions of the Everest? And do I have to mention that? So I wanted to make sure that I went and got the box for you to be able to show you what it was. In any case, yeah, in addition to that, let's talk about the controller here for a second. So if I'm going to do videos, and I'm going to do videos on crawling for you guys, and I need to do one-handed maneuvers, this guy is really tough. I just cleaned this thing, and so my hands are a little greasy. I don't want to put them all over the controller. The controller here obviously has all of your regular trim settings that are on here, the power buttons, you know, up in the back, except you can't, well, actually I have guitar finger hands. I play some guitar, and I'm a drummer, and I do not have a large, I mean, my hand is long, but my hand is not wide, and I cannot fit my hand inside there. So when it comes to trying to hold this with one hand and to do any kind of crawling with this one-handed, that was pretty difficult. Now, obviously left-handed, that's no issue whatsoever. So if you're not going to be doing one-handed driving, you know, the controller is absolutely fine. The range seemed to be fine. The biggest consideration for me was actually the turning and the position of the axle to the steering linkage and the strength of that servo. That's pretty much it. Here, take a look at this footage, because I have to tell you, as much as I hated paying the amount that I paid for this car, see, it's still stiff going this way, but it's got good swag this way. My son had a blast, and here he is. This is my son Luke playing with the HPI Crawler King.
Try to back it up. Go ahead, now forward. Good job, Luke. Back it up. Back it up. Give it a run. Back it up. Good job, bring her in. Bring it up, right here, towards me. Come on. Good job. Now come on. There you go. Smile for the camera. Wave. Good job.